Welcome to Brand Lover, honest, real, and lively conversations for flourishing entrepreneurs and budding business owners on a mission to cultivate a heartfelt brand that connects with their purpose-driven mission. My hope is that you walk away feeling inspired and refreshed with a weekly takeaway in your back pocket that you can apply to your life or business. A huge welcome to Karlie Plowman, aka Technobird, a seasoned professional in the field of website design and SEO, dedicated to supporting women in small business and solopreneurs. With over 10 years of experience, Karlie has established herself as a leader in the industry, having worked with a diverse range of businesses across various sectors. Her business, Technobird, serves as a platform for empowering business owners with the knowledge and skills necessary to thrive in the digital landscape. Welcome, Karlie.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. It's my pleasure, and I'm sure lots of other people's pleasure who's listening to this. I'm interested to learn about your journey and how they can harness the power of SEO for their website. But before we get into that, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself, just personally, and also your brand?
Yeah, so as you said in my intro, I've been doing this for 10 years now. I started my business in 2013.
Wow.
I have the same sort of story that a lot of mums in business have, where you go on maternity leave and want to change lifestyle and work for yourself and have more flexibility and all those kinds of things. But at the time, didn't really know that this is where I'd end up doing web design. It wasn't something I studied in school or went to uni for. I have no formal qualifications in web design or SEO. It was just like a chance kind of sort of fell in my lap kind of thing at the time, and got curious about how websites worked and how you build them, and just started doing my own research basically. And from starting that research, I just was like, this is for me. I just really enjoyed it. Yeah. And I'm like, this just feels all right. I understood it all, and especially when it came to SEO, that can be such a minefield for people and super scary, but for some reason that all just really clicks for me, and I can't even tell you why or how. It just does. It's so weird. I know. And so I was like, this is a career that I could do from home whilst raising kids. There's lots of flexibility, there's longevity in it, because I can't see websites ever dying, really. And I'm like, well, I've got nothing to lose. I was on maternity leave, so I'm like, you've got a year, see if you can dip your toe into the industry, if you like it, if you can build something on it, and then if not, that's okay. But yeah, the more I learned and just started playing and getting into it, I was like, this is me. I'm done. This is my career for life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Do you mind me asking, what were you doing before the maternity leave?
Boring old admin, just corporate admin, dead end, nothing jobs, always in office admin of some kind, and also childcare. I've been a nanny many times. So yeah, kind of flipping between those two, knowing that that was never really what I was meant to be doing, but just did it because I didn't know what else there was. Yeah. Didn't know my passion until I did when I was 29. So yeah, it was a big relief when I sort of was like, this is it. This is what I'm meant to be doing.
Happen at such a time.
Yeah,
incredible. And I love what you said, you had nothing to lose. You just dipped your toe in and thought, okay, give it a go.
Something I could learn on the job, I guess, as well.
Yeah.
And also knowing if it didn't work out, then I had a backup option of going back to work or finding something else. But also because there's so many branches to this job as well, especially in SEO, you can do content marketing or Google ads, or there's so many branches to this tree. Yes. And also I had no money, no experience, nothing. I started from absolutely nothing. So I didn't lose anything investment wise. Because I didn't need anything to start. So yeah.
Well, now I'm curious. How did you get your first client if you weren't already an expert in web design?
Yeah. My first client was my brother-in-law, actually. He's an artist. Yeah. And he didn't have a website, and I just said, well, can I build one for you? And he's like, yeah, go for it. So just built, like, and I used Wix because I knew I could build in there for free, didn't have to sign up for anything. And what I love about Wix is that you can build a whole website without paying anything. Like I know in Squarespace and Shopify, like after 2 weeks, you have to start paying, like for hosting or something. And with Wix, you don't. Like you can just use it completely free until you want to publish a site. Then obviously you have to pay for hosting.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, which is why I was like, well, this is great while I work it out. And then I think, so I did his site, and then I had a friend who I worked with in my old job who was also a mum and starting her own business in, she was creating like wooden baby signs with like their birth dates and name and all that kind of thing. And she was like, oh, could you build one for me so I can sell my signs? And I'm like, yes, but just FYI, I've never done this before. Are you happy for me to like figure my way out through it? And she's like, yeah, absolutely, it'll be fine. So yeah, that's how I got my first couple of clients. I think I charged her like $300
Yeah.
for that website. And I mean, I look back at that website now and I'm mortified because it was terrible. Yes. Absolutely terrible. At the time, I'm like, this is great. No, my gosh. Now I'm like, no. But, so grateful for her and Daniel for letting me, to play with their websites and let me experiment as I went. So
best way to learn though, isn't it? Just doing it.
Just get in and do it. Yeah.
Such a good lesson for business, like people put off offering things.
Yeah.
They think they have to be perfect or they have to know it all.
Yeah, like self-doubt, like, who would hire me? I don't know what I'm doing. But, you just got to start and build your skills as you go and play with different like platforms and you eventually just sort of find what works for you and if you get a personal style or you like to work with specific people, like all of that just sort of comes, but none of that comes unless you just start.
Yes. You have to start with like where you are and with what you've got.
Exactly. I love that saying.
I love it too. All right. So you are now that you have many years of experience under your belt, a self-confessed SEO advocate. So could you please break that down? What exactly is SEO and how does it work?
SEO at the end of the day, like I'm all about simplicity. So I don't like to bombard people with lots of technical explanations and use big scary words and things like that. So at the end of the day, SEO is basically called search engine optimization, which in a simpler term means getting found online. That is at the end of the day, or getting found on Google, I should say.
I love that.
So it's really simple. Like the aim of SEO, no matter what you do, like ads or organic SEO or whatever, like even social media marketing, all of it is to get found on Google and as high up in Google rankings as possible, because the higher up in the rankings you are, the percentage increases of people that will click on you from Google. So if you're on like page 1, position 2, 3, or 1, 2, or 3, your click-through rate, so click from your Google listing to your website, is at its highest. And then the lower your ranking goes, the lower that click-through rate gets. So you want to be on page 1 and as high as possible as you can for all of the search terms that people might put into Google in order to find your business, your services, your products, etc. So that at the end of the day is basically what SEO is. And yes, there are lots of different branches to SEO. You can do many different things, like I said, ads and social media marketing and organic SEO, all of that. And figuring out what works for you is something that you will learn over time. But organic SEO is predominantly what I niche in, rather than like paid SEO, like paid ads, for example, because it is free, essentially. I guess in a way it's free. Like hiring an SEO expert to help you with that obviously won't come free, but the actual art of the SEO side of things is. And lots of people, who are starting out in business don't have big budgets or any budgets at all, but obviously need to get found on Google to start generating clicks to their sites and conversions and all that sort of thing. So that side of it, you could absolutely do yourself, because all the information that you need is online and it's free information. So I'm just sort of act as a guide to tell you where you should be starting, what you should invest in first, whether that's like optimization of your website or keywords or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you can like take that info and go and do it all yourself if you like, or you can work with an SEO person like myself to help you, do that. So
yeah. So, and that kind of like, I guess you almost already answered this, but just so that it's black and white, when would somebody think about investing in SEO?
I mean, ideally from the very beginning of your business online journey. I hate that saying journey, but that's
journey.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I know, but what other word is there? I mean,
I
it
don't
is a
know.
journey. Adventure? I don't know.
Maybe. Well, it's more like a roller coaster ride.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it can be for sure. So if you're someone who is like starting out in business and it's your first website, then I would definitely be investing in optimizing the website and getting SEO things, even just the basics like doing keyword research and writing really good content and making sure that your website is easy to use and mobile friendly from the very first point of your website. Like, don't launch your site and then 12 months later go, oh, I probably should do something about SEO. I mean, you can, like, it's okay if you don't. But ideally, in an ideal world, getting it out there from the first time Google comes and crawls your website, comes and looks at your site for the very first time, looking for all the things that they need to look for is ideal world. So yeah, I'm definitely someone who's like, don't leave it too late, or it's not really, there's not actually saying don't leave it too late. There's no real too late. Like, you can always come back and start SEO on your site, even if it's 5 years old. Like, there is still opportunity for you to do well in SEO and Google if you're 5 years into it. But ideally, as soon as you can.
Okay. And what would be the very basic kind of things that you would recommend focusing on? Like, if there were things that, say, somebody just built their own site and they wanted to try and do things right, just to keep it simple for them, what would be your top 3 things to focus on?
Definitely number 1 would be keyword research, because that is what's going to connect you with your ideal client or customer on Google. If that's where you're going to or hoping to find your clients or customers from Google, then those keywords have to be pinpoint, because they're going onto Google and they're typing in the service that you provide. And if you're not coming up, you're not going to be seen, you're not going to be clicked on, and you're not going to be hired, I suppose. So those keywords have to be in your site where Google needs to find them, not even just in the back end, like not even just in your meta tags, image, alt titles. They need to be in the content as well. So if you're starting out and you're working with a copywriter, for example, they should ask you what your keywords are, or if you need help with keyword research, so that they can use those keywords throughout the content as well. That's really important. So it's not all about like the back end and the meta tags and all that stuff. It's also within the content. So number 1, definitely keyword research. Number 2 would be making sure it's mobile friendly, for sure, because Google now look at your mobile site before they look at your desktop site. And that is, I'm pretty sure everyone knows that, Google index or Google searching on your phone is easy. Everyone just picks up their phone, starts Googling, and they just want to find you super quickly. Then once they find you, on their phone, they'll look at your site and they'll judge your site from what they see. If they land on your mobile site and, it's not properly formatted, the menu's hard to use, they have to zoom in to look at the words on your site, they'll just go, this is shit, I can't even use this site, and they're just going to exit. So you want to really land that first impression, and that is now happening on mobile more than it is desktop. So really important to make sure that your website's responsive on mobile and tablet and all kinds of screen sizes, but that'll also come down to the platform you use. I think most platforms now are really good in automating that. Some you have to go in and like fix up some of the formatting manually. I think Showit's maybe probably the worst one for that, where they don't automatically up to format your mobile site. I think they're separate. As so if someone's a show it expert, please correct me if
Yeah.
I'm wrong there. I'm not a show it expert. That's just what I've heard.
Yeah.
But I know like Wix and Squarespace and Shopify
Yeah.
mostly make that really easy, and you know, might only have to adjust a few things. So yeah, so that would be number two.
Yeah.
And number three, which is kind of like later down the track, I guess, after your site's launched and everything's going, definitely setting up Google Analytics and Google Search Console so that you can track your website performance, so that you know, or you can make the best decisions possible for your content marketing and your other marketing that you're doing based on the actual data of your website. So that's knowing, you know, who is coming to your site, how they're coming to your site, what keywords they're typing into Google to find your website, what pages they're looking at, what blog posts they're interacting with, you know, where they're clicking, where they're not clicking, all those things
Mm.
is really, really important to know, so that you can then make really good decisions going forward for your digital marketing efforts. Otherwise, you are just doing a guessing game or hoping for the best, and that's just not going to get you anywhere.
Mm.
And you don't have to learn those tools back to front either. Like, even just start with the dashboard of Google Analytics, where it gives you a summary of things. Like, start there, just learn the basics. And as you go, you know, sort of, you can, depending on if you're e-commerce website or not, because e-commerce you can get lots more data on conversion rates and all that kind of thing. But yeah, those would be definitely my top three.
Yeah, amazing. So I know this, I don't know if this is obvious or not, but what would you recommend as an indicator to test if your SEO is working well?
Yeah, so definitely Google Analytics and Google Search
Mm.
Console will tell you, like, if you're getting traffic, and then if you're getting the traffic, are you then converting? All
Mm-hmm.
of that info comes from those platforms. And there's other platforms that you can use. Like, one I use is called SE Ranking, where you can get so much more information. Like, it integrates your Google Analytics and Search Console into the platform, but it's also a place where you can do like competitor research, for example. So if
Mm.
you want to keep an eye on your direct competitors and know sort of what they're doing and how they're doing it to beat them, because it kind of is a competition at the end of the day when it comes to Google. Like, you are trying to, you
Yeah,
know, kick people out of top spots so you
that's
can get
it.
it. You do have to keep an eye on sort of what they're doing, not like
Yes,
obsess over it. I would never
yes,
say like check every day, but
yeah,
I would definitely suggest just looking in every now and then at what they're doing and how they're doing it, and see if you can better it or improve it or compete with them in some way. Maybe they're doing really good, they've got really good keywords, or there's a particular blog post that they've written that's really resonating with people, and go and have a look at it and understand why and how maybe you can compete with that blog post yourself, for example. So
yeah.
yeah.
I got to say that I know this is digressing on the topic somewhat, but I just love the way that you talk about competitors, because
Oh,
we are
thanks.
in business and we have competitors. Like, we
Yeah,
have
even if you
competition.
don't care about
And
them.
yeah, yeah. And, it's not to sort of, yeah, as you say, obsess over them or let them get,
No,
it's not to trigger imposter syndrome or anything, but we really do
no.
strategically need to know who our competitors are and keep an eye on what they're up to so that they don't get ahead
Yeah,
of you.
they're looking at what you're doing too. Like,
Exactly. Yeah. So
don't think
thanks
it's
for
one way
sharing
street.
that. Yeah, no, I love that.
Yeah,
But, like, I think, like, I think collaboration and competition are too often like compared as it has to be one or the other. But I don't believe that to be true at all. Like, I think they work
no.
completely differently. So
My
yeah,
housemates is a web designer, and she works in WordPress and I work in Wix and Shopify. So like,
yeah,
we are competitors because we've both got very similar clients. Doesn't matter that the platforms we use are different. That has nothing to do with it.
hmm,
But at the same time, like, I will have a look at, you know, what she's doing keyword wise and how she's getting traffic. She'll look at mine
yeah,
and we'll be like, oh bitch, like, how did you
yeah,
get all those, how did you get that client? But it's not like, it's, who cares? There are
yeah,
so many clients out there waiting
Yeah,
for you to work with them. There is enough
exactly.
for
Yeah,
everyone. There is plenty for everyone.
plenty.
But yeah, it's still a good idea to keep an eye. Like I said, do not obsess over it though. I know that companies do, like bigger companies obviously obsess over it because they've
Mhm.
got the budget
Yeah,
for it. But us little people, like, don't stress over if your direct competitor is, getting more traffic than you. Just have a look at what they're doing, and then look at how you can improve in your own way. Like, stay in your own path, but just, yeah, keep an eye on every now and then. It's healthy, I think.
I think it's healthy. I also find it quite motivating, like, to see somebody else doing something and kind of go, oh,
Yeah.
wish I'd thought of that. And then sort of
Yes.
think, oh,
And that can spark
how
another
could I
idea
do
for
that
you.
better? Or how could I do that a little differently for my audience?
Yes.
But yeah, and it's
Yeah, I
a
love it. I
hobby.
actually
It's
find it
just, yeah,
inspiring
it's
to look at other
inspiring.
people, what they're doing. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It sort of
for sure.
gives me that fire in my belly. It's like,
It
right.
does. And some reassurance. I also get reassurance from looking at other web
Yeah,
designers and I like to look at their packages and what they're
yeah,
including and how much they're charging, because then that just helps me to improve my stuff. So I actually
absolutely.
find it inspiring to look at your
Yeah.
competitors.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I love this conversation. All right. So to wrap up then, do you have any final tips? Or I think you've covered a fair bit, really.
Tips. Okay. I definitely, I'm a big keywords person. Like, that is one of the main SEO services that I provide, and have been doing that for years. So if you're listening to this and you have a website and you've not done any keyword research or looked at, like, revised your keywords in quite some time, I would definitely be considering looking into that.
Mhm.
Do an audit on your site, have a look at the keywords you're ranking for. Maybe the keywords you were ranking for, changed, because that can
Mhm.
happen quite regularly. Like, something you were targeting a year ago, maybe the wording is slightly changed, and you need to then go in and change the keyword in your site.
Mm.
I think people often make the mistake of maybe doing the keyword research and putting them in the site and being like, done, don't need to worry
Yeah,
about that anymore. And then they don't think to come back and review it. But you
I'm
really do
feeling
need to
seen.
review them.
Feeling very vulnerable right now.
Sorry.
Okay, no,
but,
it's good.
but add that to your to-do
I'm
list.
just gonna write some notes.
View keywords.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
And then I think, I guess the other thing to look at is your site overall. Like, how is the user experience of your site? Have you updated the layout or the design or the colors or the
Mm.
images in a while? Sometimes we can just leave our sites sort of static for a while because we think that it's finished, but a
Yeah.
website is never finished. A website's never completed. It's an ever evolving thing, something you have to maintain. It's like a plant, you have to water it to keep it
Mm.
growing.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are my two tips.
Thank you. They're amazing.
That's okay.
All right, I have some fun rapid fire questions for you now. So I'm just going to
Okay,
read out a word and then it's whatever comes to mind. Okay.
cool.
What's your favorite app?
Instagram,
Time of day?
nighttime,
Night owl.
when the world is quiet.
Yes, peaceful. All right, type of exercise. Pardon, sorry, it cut out.
Netball,
Netball. Oh, that's
yes.
right. I forgot about our netball bond.
Yes.
Okay. Habit or ritual?
Habit or ritual? Good question. I don't know if I have any rituals. I mean, this is boring, but I love walking. I love walking and
Hmm.
listening to podcasts. The only time I can listen to podcasts is when I'm walking and don't have
Yeah,
other distractions.
yeah.
Um,
I love that.
Habits. Oh no, nails. I got my nails done this morning. If you
Oh,
can
yeah.
see on the camera. I
They're
like
very
getting
on
my nails
brand.
done. I know, right? Pink is my
Very
in my
nice.
brand.
Fresh.
Oh God, boring. I need some new habits.
That's all right. One of my favorite,
Massages. I love massages. Was
just
that a
like my
habit?
favorite ritual is making a coffee. So that,
Yeah.
I
I'm
think
not a
it,
coffee drinker. So I can't use that one.
oh,
Yeah. I'm
well,
not a coffee or tea drinker
that's an
or
easy.
a wine drinker.
I don't know if we can be friends, Carlie.
I know. People say that to me all the
I'm
time.
joking. I'm joking. Okay,
I
favorite
know.
way to relax.
Sitting on the couch watching a Netflix show, just binging a Netflix show. That is pretty much it.
Zoning out. Love it. All right.
Or TikTok.
TikTok.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite thing about your business?
Oh, probably the variety. I like to have different, like I used to, when I worked in office, it was often the same thing every day over and over for
Yes.
forever. And so this,
Forever.
forever basically. And you're like, oh God, is this really
I
my
love
life?
that.
And then I came into this industry and there are so many different things you can do. So I love having lots of variety. One day I could be designing a site for a psychologist, and the next day I could be doing a keyword research plan for an online store. And then the next day I'm like auditing a Shopify site. Like it's always on the go, lots of different things. So I think to get the variety and creativity that this gives me. Yeah.
I love that. All right. Very last thing. Where can we find you? Do you have any cool resources to people to come and grab? And
oh yes, I do actually. I've just updated them. So good question, good timing. Go onto my website, which is thetechnobird.com.au. Go to the shop page, and I've just added a couple of freebies on there. One is a DIY SEO audit, which helps you to audit your own site SEO and know what's working, what's not, what you need to do. So that's on there. There's also a brand new checklist that I've just created, which is a website optimization checklist.
wow.
And then the other freebie is another guide on how to do your own keyword research and where to put them. And then I've also just created a new ebook. I know I got really creative over the break, and I've done all this new stuff. I know, I just got really inspired. Like, you never give yourself the time to like update your own stuff. Like, you're always working on other people's SEO. But yeah, there's an ebook on there that's also about website optimization and why it's important and how to do it. And the checklist you get free with that. It's not, the ebook's not free, but the checklist is. You can get them separately if you want to. And then there's some other resources on there that are all under $80 as well. So I've tried to make them really affordable for people. So other than that, I'm on Instagram and Threads. I'm loving Threads. Are you on Threads?
You've been on Threads a lot lately. I kind of fade in and out of there. Like, I really like it when I'm there, and then I forget about it because it's not part of my social ritual. My social
when that first came out, I'm like, no, I don't want to do another social media. I can't do this. Like, didn't want anything to do with it. Got on there because, of course, curious. And I was like, this is great. I love it. So many cool people on there. And people I never would have met before. Like, I've just worked with a VA who helped me set up Moxie. I've just moved from Dubsado to Moxie. And I found her via Threads. So, and she's great. Like, I can see me working with her more in the future. So had Threads not have been a thing, I don't know if I would have found her, which is great.
Awesome. Go on over to Threads. Cool.
Yeah, come hang out with Threads.
Thank you so much, Karlie. This has been a really fun conversation and incredibly valuable, as everything that you do is. Just so that if anyone's listening, Karlie has been a guest expert inside my membership, the Branding Hub, and it blew our minds. Like, it is so amazing.
And thank you.
Resources are incredible. I'm going to be probably just about to go and download all those free things you just mentioned. But also, I've seen inside some of her other paid resources, and they are just next level. So highly recommend, Karlie. Thank you so much for chatting with me on the podcast.
Oh, thanks, Rach. Thanks so much for having me. I love chatting with you.
If you found this episode inspiring or helpful, I invite you to share the link with another woman in business or someone who needs to hear this message. Every woman we can support to grow a meaningful, profitable brand is another woman who is free to live a purposeful life for herself and be more present for her family. None of us are alone in the challenges we face in business, but the solution can start with a gift from someone else, and it could be a podcast episode just like this one. Thank you for listening.